Shalom. All praise is due to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Kodash, double honors to the elect. Apostles, bishops, elders at Great Millstone at Ruel. Shalom to elect Ak out there doing this work in sincerity and truth and not for vain glory, in season, out of season. Shalom to the elect men, women, sons, and daughters of the nation of Israel, which are the elect men, women, sons, and daughters of you so-called Negroes, West Indian Haitians, Hispanics, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians. Okay, just want to bring out this quick scripture. You know, they got the draft. They're proposing a draft to come to draft so-called Americans into this war. Okay, all right, because like the apostles, bishops, elders, and brothers, we are already in the Third World War. Okay, we're in the Third World War already. You know, and you know, you don't have many people signing up to join the military. Okay, but you know, they're gonna issue a draft, which the apostles has prophesied this many years ago. Okay, a great millstone that there's gonna be a draft. Okay, but you know, the men of the Lord are not gonna fight in Esau's in his armed forces. Okay, all right. I'm saying the men of the Lord are not going to fight in Esau's armed forces. Okay, whether they be young men or whether they be middle-aged men. Okay, so let's go to it right quick. This is John, the 18th chapter and the 36th verse. See, the men and women of the Lord are not going to fight in Esau's armed forces. John 18 chapter and the 36th verse. Yahweh Shai answered, my kingdom is not of this world. Yeah. Yahweh Shai's kingdom is not of this world. Okay. Who the world calls JC. Jesus Christ, right? Okay. This is not Yahweh Shai. This is not his kingdom. Okay. He is yet to receive his kingdom yet. Okay. Of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, then would my servants fight? You see? So this is not the kingdom of Yahweh Shai. You know? All right. Back then, when he came on the scene, a little bit over what, 1,000 years ago. Okay. That wasn't his kingdom yet because you had the Romans ruling. Okay. All right. Okay. A little bit over 1,000 or 2,000 years ago. The Romans were in rulership over the nation of Israel. Okay. So that wasn't his kingdom. You know, like you had certain dudes like the Sakari trying to bring down the Roman Empire, you know, but they were off on that because it wasn't time for Yahweh Shai to get his kingdom. Okay. All right. It was time for the Romans, you know, to rule over the nation of Israel at that particular time. All right. You know, you had 70 AD when the Roman general Titus, you know, Israel, Judah had to flee from Judea. Okay. You know, so it was time for the Romans to rule. So it says, Yahweh Shai answered, my kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, then my servants will fight. And this is not the kingdom of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, to the same very day. Because Who's ruling? Esau. Okay? Which America is the rebirth of the Roman Empire. Okay? All right? So this is not the kingdom of Yahweh. So the men and women of the Lord is not going to go and fight in the so-called white man's armies, man. Okay? Whether they institute the draft or not, the men and women of the Lord will be protected from being drafted. Okay? By Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. All right? If my kingdom were of this world, then would my servants fight. And we are the servants of the elect men and women of the nation of Israel, you so-called Negroes, West Indians, Haitians, Latinos, and Native Americans, Seminole Indians, Hispanics. The elect of you, you're the servants of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. All right? So, yeah, man, that I should not be delivered to the Jews, but now it's my kingdom, not from hence. You know, so the men and women of the Lord of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai don't have to worry about being caught up in this draft that Esau is setting up. Okay, now 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, West Indian, Haitians, Hispanics, Latinos, and Native Americans, Seminole Indians, yeah, you definitely going to be caught up into that. Okay? And if you go over there to fight, you're going to die over there. I'm talking about the 2/3 of you. Okay? So the kingdom of Yahweh Shai has not yet to come yet. Okay? It hasn't come yet. All right? So let's go to the book of Daniel, 7:8, the 7th chapter. It's not to come yet, man. The 7th chapter and the 18th verse. There's many more scriptures on that. It says, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. So that hasn't happened yet. Okay? That has not happened. All right? So the saints are the Israelites, which are your so-called Negroes, West Indian, Haitians, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, you know, and Yahweh Shai hasn't come back on that mountain-sized chariot mentioned in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, with Michael Archangel and all the other angels and all the innumerable other chariots, okay, to destroy Babylon, which is America, okay, to destroy the spiritual Egypt, which is America, which is destroy the spiritual Sodom, which is America, okay. So that hasn't happened. The saints haven't taken the kingdom yet and rule it forever, and even forever. Okay? But that's going to happen. So this is a future prophecy. Okay? And like I said, the saints are the Israelites, which are you so-called Negroes, West Indian, Haitians, Hispanics, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians. Okay? All right? So, yeah. The elect men and women of the nation of Israel, you don't have to worry about that. You know, whether it be young men, young women, or whether it be middle-aged women, because I think it's like the age is, I think, like from the 20s to the like early 40s or something to that nature, who they want to draft over there, you know, and to fight this Third World War, okay? You know, over there in the Middle East, okay? So I hope you've been edified and have faith, you know. They're not going to draft the men and women of the Lord. Hope you've been edified, and with that, shalom.